Hey there, lovelies. Welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're already subscribed. Today's discussion will be about the possible drama that comes with trying to befriend men, especially when you are an attractive woman. And what tends to happen when those guys try to come out of the friend zone. Some of these guys' behaviors are completely cringe when they're rejected. So let's get into this discussion, but first, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's have a chat. Most men view women as being good only for certain things, such as pleasure and our feminine energy in general. Some of them will try to disguise this by calling you their friend, or even in some weird cases, calling you their sis or sister or other platonic categories. But in their mind, they are actually creating a roster, using you as a possible love interest when they decide to take things further. And it doesn't matter if you've told them the types of guys you like, and clearly not describing them, some of these guys will still have it in their mind to put you in a roster category. Nor does it matter if they are married or in a relationship. A lot of guys want to have their cake and eat it too. And when they profess their interest in you and get rejected, you're likely to become a walking target for microaggression, bullying, and humbling tactics. Even more so if you radiate with confidence and have high standards. Growing up, I was silly enough to befriend mostly men. That decision wasn't initially intentional, as I've always wanted to be a part of a girl group and have friends like the ones I saw on TV shows such as Girlfriends or Sex in the City, but where I lived, the women were mostly mean and jealous. So I found myself hanging around guys once I became a teen in high school, which continued into my adult years. I honestly thought that men understood me more and were easier to be around. I thought they weren't as catty or toxic as other women could be, but as the years went by with experience, I found that to be the complete opposite. Can men and women really be friends? If you would have asked me this years ago, I would have said yes, without any hesitation, as I was completely naive and a hardcore pick-me. And now, absolutely almost no. And I say almost because if there's no chance that one is attracted to the other, like there will never be that possibility, then it could work. But if you are an attractive woman and you are friends with a guy, then absolutely not. Because at some point, even if it takes years, someone is going to want more out of the friendship. And in my experiences, it had always been my male counterparts who wanted more. Even if they were in full-blown, long-term relationships with their significant others, that didn't matter to them. They always found some weird way to profess their interest in me. Also, keep in mind that most significant others will not be okay with this friendship, even if the man or woman lies and says that they are. I've had a guy friend do this to me and put me in an awkward position once I realized his significant other had a major issue with our friendship. My ex-guy friend lied and told me that his fiancée was okay with us hanging out and that they had many women in their circle of friends that he'd also hang out with. Like a dummy, I believed him. I reached out to his fiancée many times to try to form a friendship with her as well, but she always had an attitude and gave off bad energy, as if she didn't want to be bothered with me. That should have been a sign to end the friendship, but like a dummy, I continued to hang out with him since we worked and took our lunch breaks together. But later, when he tried to recruit me to be on his roster of women, it finally clicked. She must have known all along that he liked me, so I eventually gave that shit show up. Now that I know better about men, I don't blame her at all for being uncomfortable with our friendship. I'll never make that mistake ever again. Male friendships just aren't worth the risk or hassle, in my opinion, unless both of you are single or just not attracted to one another at all. This may come as common sense to other women, but for some of us, it's not. Maybe your social skills aren't the best and you have a hard time reading the room, as they say. Maybe you were raised by pick-me family members. There could be a plethora of reasons for this, but recognizing your mistakes and correcting the behavior going forward is what matters. Other reasons and situations why I believe men and women cannot be friends come from personal experiences from myself and other women I know. When I was in my early 20s, I was in a program where myself and a team would rehab homes for the elderly. At that time, I was wildly into that kind of stuff, wanting to renovate homes and learn some carpentry skills, so this was a great fit for me, I thought at the time. I was the only woman on this team of about 15 or so young men. To make a long story short, I'd befriended a few guys. I was not attracted to any of these men, not that anything was wrong with them, but I was there to do a job and gain skills at the end of the day. I had gotten close to a few, one who had a long-term girlfriend and child. He would always talk about his girlfriend and say how he thought we'd get along since we liked similar things, so I was willing to meet her at some point to try and make new friends. To sum things up, he mentioned how he was a polygamist and how he and his woman lived that lifestyle. I didn't judge him because I truly didn't care, but I showed zero interest in wanting to join them, at least in my mind. That friendship eventually came to an end when he professed his interest in me and I turned him down. When he couldn't take no for an answer, he decided to spread nasty rumors about me. Fast forward into the beginning of my career in tech, I met two other guys I called friends. They were really nice and helped me with my studies to get into the field. I later realized both of them had a romantic interest in me based off of things they'd say and do. Clearly, by now, as you can tell, I'm a terrible judge of character. I don't do well with social cues at all. A few years went by while working in tech, which is mostly male dominated, at least where I live, and almost every male coworker I made friends with I later found had some kind of interest in me, whether romantic or casual. I've caught these men looking at me in provocative ways, making inappropriate jokes about the female anatomy and about my body parts. We had a secret Santa celebration for Christmas one year at my job, and one of the guys on my team gifted me a white robe and a red bottle of wine. This guy always referred to me as his sister, so I thought it was a little odd to gift me that. It was very uncomfortable at times working around these guys, but I would just shrug off the weird behavior as men being men. I would find myself having to gracefully reject these guys when some of them tried to make a move. Men will try and tear you down when you reject their interest in you, even when done so politely, or try to make things uncomfortable in the workplace if you guys work together. Don't get me wrong, no one likes rejection, but men can and will take rejection to another level. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. So like I mentioned earlier, a guy that I rejected started nasty rumors about me, like, "Sir, really? Take your loss and move on, it's not that serious, especially when you already have a woman. Get it together." There were times I've been catcalled while walking down the street, and when I ignored those guys, I've been called racial slurs, ugly, even though they were just trying to get my number. Men saying, "You're not even all that," or "I like my women natural without weaves anyway." Just anything to try and humble me just because I wasn't interested in them. I've had men call me out of my name. Not one time did I turn these guys down in a disrespectful way, but I was almost always met with disrespectful reactions. And I learned that age doesn't matter when it comes to men. I thought hanging around older gentlemen at work for mentorship purposes would be a good idea. It works out for some women as I've seen it, but for me, not so much. These fools also thought they had a chance, I found out later, and when I didn't reciprocate the same interest, they would start their humbling tactics to bring me down a notch. One had the audacity to burst into a conference room on a day of my team's meeting only to pretend to say hi to my boss, even though his eyes were on me the whole time. That guy eventually got fired, so I didn't have to deal with his weirdness. I've had one weirdo say, "Hypothetically, if you liked me, I wouldn't be interested because of our age gap." He said this out of nowhere while we were working on a project together. Then the same guy later told me that I was on a list of women he loved. These guys are unhinged, I swear. You also have the narcs that will flat out act like you don't exist after you reject their interest in you. They're usually the ones who gloat about so many women who chase after them and make it seem like they can have any woman at their disposal. So when they approach you thinking that you're going to be an easy catch and get rejected instead, they're literally a fish out of water. They don't know what to do. They'll retaliate by doing things such as look past you, literally, as if you were a ghost or something. Some will ignore you altogether just because you're not into them, even though you guys would hang out regularly. When you speak, they act as if you said nothing at all. Not all guys are like this. I have definitely met some great guys who were respectful and respected the friend zone boundary, but in my experience working with and befriending mostly men, a lot of them are unfortunately like this. They're trying to devalue you by doing this tactic, but don't let it get to you. You know who you are and should let your confidence speak for itself. Give it right back to them. Ignore them. Don't even look in their direction. Act as if they are beneath you if you must, because what they're doing is disrespectful and you shouldn't tolerate it. Honestly, think about why men want to be your friend. Like, seriously consider the reason, because most of the time, you don't even have that much in common with them when it really comes down to it, unless you're a masculine pick-me, no shade girl. Unless you guys set clear boundaries, such as he's your go out for drinks or dinner friend. Sometimes women may want male company, so it's fine for those situations. Most men do not care about our emotions. I've had plenty of male counterparts tell me this in casual conversation. They're seriously selfish and could care less about how you feel. That's why it's important to have high standards to ensure you're protected from the games that men play. Men seem to be uncomfortable when they see a beautiful woman thriving who has high standards and who doesn't need them. It's like we're a threat or some weird challenge for them to try and conquer. They can't fathom that a woman can have a happy, healthy life without them or without them being the center of it. I've had some men immediately try to sabotage my self esteem when I would be silly enough to confide in them about my accomplishments or goals. I remember when chatting with male coworkers I thought were friends at the time about my goals and ambitions, they were so quick to humble me or flat out tell me, no, you can't have that, or no man will do those things for you, or you were lucky to get that opportunity. I was so excited and wanted to share with my friends what I had been up to or things going on in my life, but instead I was met with hating energy. I made the mistake of telling one of them that my next relationship will be with a provider man, as I had been a Barbara 50-50 pick-me chick splitting bills in the past, and those situations didn't benefit me at all. I thought I could trust this person since I worked with him for years. My male coworker said to me, "No man will ever do that for you. Like, sir, just because you can't afford to do that for your woman doesn't mean another man can't afford to do that for me. Stop projecting and get your money all the way up." By the way, I strongly urge you not to tell anyone, especially men, about your future plans. I was a dingbat and didn't know any better at the time. Most of you probably know that by now, thanks to more women speaking up about our experiences online. Keep your plans to yourself and let your manifestation speak for you instead. The moral of the story here is be careful if you choose to befriend men, and at least make sure you are benefiting from that relationship in some way, because men are natural users and selfish. Again, not all of them, so don't get triggered. There are some who will definitely try and bring you down, though, but in reality, they know better and are only making themselves look foolish in doing so. You minding your own business will trigger these weirdos that don't know how to handle it. I've seen it and experienced this myself, but that is a them problem and not a you problem, sis. So stay beautifully unbothered and let the haters watch in envy, because they are truly envious of your glory. When you pour into yourself, you have no choice but to thrive. This will attract good things into your life, and men if that's what you're looking for. There isn't much a man can say when a woman is at her highest self, and he knows that. If you vibed with this story, please like and subscribe. What are you waiting for, friend? Let me know your thoughts down below. What stories would you like to share? What advice would you like to give? Let's have a respectful, healthy discussion. See you on the next one, lovelies.